So since the birth of sort of Game of Thrones, the sets and the props and the names and everything in this universe has become so kind of iconic. Do you remember what it was like when you first went onto the set and you saw things like the Iron Throne for the first time? Did it feel like being in a sort of theme park?
It did.
It did, but then you had to remind yourself, that's my living room. That's my, this is my house, this is my, this is my dining halls, my ballroom was like the throne room.
Yeah,
so you had to contextualize it to be normal for these people.
But walking into the throne room for the first time is a feeling unlike any other. It's so cool.
Did you get to sit on it? I heard Paddy was being quite protective.
He was being Also, when it wasn't used, they would tape it all up.
It had like foam bits on the ends of the swords.
Cover it with top.
I remember at one point there was a caution wet floor sign put on the throne, so that no one could sit on it.
I got a cheeky photo of me on it, very blurry.
Yeah.
I mean, did you guys get to, I was going to say take anything, the word's really steal, but I mean, like, it's in terms of, like, when you're on something like this, where there are so many props and costumes and stuff, it must be quite nice to have a souvenir or memento from your experience. Were you able to take anything at all?
We did.
Well, we've been saying no in every interview, but then I just remembered, and I didn't steal it. I said how cool it would be to have one, and one of the props guys picked it up and, handed it to me.
Yeah.
It was a leaf from the Godswood, because they used to have buckets and buckets of them and just scatter them on the floor. So it wasn't taken from the tree. I didn't do anything I wasn't supposed to do. I just saw them all on the floor. I was like, I wish I could just pick one up and take it home. And then I picked two up and gave them to Mel.
So we both have one each.
We have a leaf.
We'll keep saying no in other interviews. That means I'm the only person that actually knows what you actually going to say. These are huge, big roles for you both. I mean, when you look back to the kind of beginning of Game of Thrones and how it created such huge stars out of its very young cast, is that something that's quite a daunting prospect? Something you're kind of prepared for? Because I guess in your profession, fame is inadvertently a kind of byproduct of success, and obviously this is such a huge successful property. How is that? Is that something you've had to kind of sort of give some thought to, that kind of what could be in store?
Yes, but I think that's an interesting thing that you said, that fame is a byproduct of success, because I think that we're tricked, that I believe that talent, fame and success are all very different things, and you can be very, very talented and very successful but not very famous. You can be very famous, not very successful and not very talented, or vice versa. They all kind of intertwine. And I think ultimately me and Emily just want to be great actors, and we just want to pick great projects. So we haven't really thought about. I know that I've tried to avoid thinking about fame and engaging with all of that.
You can't because it's overwhelming. I think I tried to avoid it for months and months and months, and now it's only just hit now on the press tour when you have people asking are you ready for what's going to come? It's only now that I've started to think about it. I go, am I? And then you have to shut it down and be like, don't think about it. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I was asked about, is it High Valyrian? Is that what you speak? Yeah. Do you just learn the words on the page and make sure you just say them in the right sort of order, or do you have to learn the language so this in context?
No, I just learned the lines on the page, but I'd learned the script, obviously, the scene in English, so that I knew what I was saying, what was going on. I'd analyse it, break it down, and then I would learn it phonetically, and then I would learn how to say it, and I would listen to a voice recording, so I could just think about the scene and just say it.
Because I was asked as well, Emily, I mean, how important is it for you to show Alicent as a human? Because because you have to kind of allowing the audience to sort of get to know. Because it's fair to say that as the series kind of progresses, she does go on to be something of an antagonist, I suppose. So I'm just wondering about sort of having this kind of chance to show them her from a younger age and sort of allow the audience to understand her somewhat.
I mean, I think that's why we are here, is because they wanted to show some more depth, and the characters that people are expecting, like for example Alicent, they're expecting this really angry woman, and I mean, I haven't seen it, I haven't read the scripts. Maybe Olivia does play the very angry woman that people are expecting Alicent to be, but I think what I'm doing is showing why she was pushed into becoming this very angry woman, and I think people surprisingly might even sympathize with her at times. I think it's so important. I think childhood and growing up, especially teenage years, it completely shapes you as a human being. I think it was important and key to show both of these young women in their early years.
Yeah. And something we sort of take for granted, but in this world, in the world of Game of Thrones and House of Dragons, there's a culture of very strong women in positions of great power and very complex characters at that. Is that something we see explored in this series?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's the show.
Yeah. That is
entire show.
The show, yes, through and through.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask too, I mean, because you obviously playing the sort of younger versions of the characters played as well by Olivia and Emma, did you get the chance to speak to them to help craft your performances and just kind of like maybe match up mannerisms at all, or actually was it better, do you think, to have a bit of a distance?
I think we just accepted it. I would have liked to have spoken to Emma before, just for my own peace of mind, really, more than anything, and also just having someone to talk to and being like, this crazy thing is happening. We both play the same woman, but no, we didn't.
We didn't, and it became very clear early on that it was a choice. It wasn't an accident that we weren't meeting them, so we sort of just had to blindly trust the creative team, and they just sort of trusted us, and hopefully it all works out. There is a certain physical mannerism characteristic that Alicent does that you see in the first episode that is carried over, but other than that, it's like playing two different people, you know?
I mean, they're just examples of such a wonderful ensemble in this series, but there's just one I wanted to speak about, which is Paddy Considine, because I'm such a huge fan of his work, and he brings so much intensity and fervour to every character that he kind of plays. What was he like to collaborate with on this, and does he raise the level of everyone around him when someone's that good?
No,
Yeah,
he does.
He really does.
Yeah.
On set and off set as well, his methods and his ways of working, and you can see the cogs in his brain turning. It's like a masterclass. Playing opposite someone like him, everything comes very naturally. All your reactions, you don't have to think about it. He just gives you everything you need as an actor to bounce off. He gave us lessons in everything, in on-set etiquette and how to behave and act, and how to take direction and notes, and how to interact with fellow actors, and to give enough but not give too much of yourself.
And just very quickly before I go, I just wanted to ask about how excited you are to finally be sharing this with the world, if only because this is obviously one of those series that's entrenched in kind of secrecy and spoilers. It must be quite nice that you can finally talk to people about it, when it starts airing at least.
I mean, it's been a long time coming. It's strange. It feels strange to talk about it.
And a part of me is like, no, don't let it come out, because I want this experience to live and die in the way that I saw it and the way that I experienced it. And with our fellow cast members, it lives in a bubble, and then you share it, and the way that you watch it, when I see myself, you know, it's the dread and fear, and you're like, I suck, and then it's the, oh my god, on that day it was so hot. Do you remember? Like it's a completely different relationship with the work, and you can never really take a step back and see it for what it is.
I can't wait to see what Olivia and Emma did. We didn't even read the script.
We don't know.
We don't know anything. We're clueless.
That's quite exciting.
Yeah.
You get to watch it like I do. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!